From Daily Trust News Center, this is News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, President Muhammadu Buhari orders Federal Executive Council members with political ambitions to resign as Education Minister Emeka Nwajuba quits hours after directive. House of Representatives follows path of Senate, allows statutory delegates at primaries. Army barricades site after explosion in Taraba. And on the foreign scene, White House calls for thorough investigation into Abu Akleh's killing. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Ayinde Shuaga. The news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari has ordered all members of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, contesting elective positions in 2023 to resign on or before Monday, May 16, 2022. Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, announced this Wednesday while briefing State House reporters on the outcome of the Federal Cabinet meeting at the Council chambers of the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He said only Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, as an elected official, was exempted. Shafiu Suleiman tells us more on the developments.
Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 provides that no political appointee at any level shall be voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for purposes of nomination of candidates for any election. Following the appeal court judgment, the Federal Executive Council directed ministers with political ambition to resign.
All members of the Federal Executive Council aspiring to run for office, either be it president or governor or National Assembly, must resign from cabinet effectively by the 16th, which is Monday.
Minister of State for Education Chukwuemeka Nwajuba is first to quit the cabinet to pursue his presidential ambition. Others with presidential ambition likely to follow suit are Transportation Minister Rotimi Amechi, Labor and Productivity Chris Ngige, Minister of Niger Delta Affairs Godwill Akpabio, Science and Technology Ogbonnaya Onu, and Minister of State for Petroleum Timipri Silva. Others are Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, who wants to contest Kebbi State governorship election, as well as Women Affairs Minister Pauline Talon, who is expected to resign to pursue a senatorial ambition in Plateau State. Commenting on the appellate court's position which voided deletion of the section in the Electoral Act, a constitutional lawyer, Sam Kagbo, says it is a sound legal interpretation.
When you go to court to ask for a declaratory relief, when you are not in any way connected to the issue and the issue is not even ripe, it becomes an academic exercise. The gentleman who took the matter to court was not in any way a political appointee.
This time around, surprisingly, we have ministers and other political appointees, including Central Bank Governor of Nigeria, disrespecting this legal provision that compels them to resign.
Chief executives of parastatals and other government agencies with political aspirations may also resign to pursue their ambitions. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Minister of State for Education Emeka Nwajuba has tendered his resignation. This was confirmed as President Muhammadu Buhari ordered all cabinet members interested in contesting the 2023 general elections to quit his cabinet. The development made Buhari excited, as he also singled the minister out for braving the odds to quit. The Minister of State for Education, Nwajuba, had picked the expression of interest and nomination forms from the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, to contest for the presidency. In an apparent move to avoid litigations that might jeopardize the chances of the APC candidates in the forthcoming elections, President Buhari directed all members of the Federal Executive Council, FEC, running for elective offices to submit their letters of resignation on or before Monday, the 16th of May, 2022. The House of Representatives on Wednesday amended Section 84(8)A of the Electoral Act 2022 to enable statutory delegates participate in political parties, congresses, and conventions. The current Electoral Act, which was assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari in February this year, prevents statutory delegates from taking part in party primaries. The Senate had on Tuesday amended the same section to allow statutory delegates take part in political parties, congresses, and conventions. The amendment followed the consideration and passage of a bill for an act to amend the Electoral Act No. 13, 2022, and related matters, HB 1984, as presented by the House Leader, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, at an emergency plenary session summoned by the House. Statutory delegates include councillors, local government chairmen and vice chairmen, political party chairmen in all the 774 local government areas, state and federal lawmakers, governors and their deputies, president and vice president, political parties' national working committee members, state party chairmen and secretaries. Majority Leader, House of Representatives Alhassan Doguwa and Chairman, House Committee on Electoral Matters Aisha Duku, have given reasons behind the quick passage of amendment to Section 84(8) of the 2022 Electoral Act to accommodate statutory delegates during political parties' convention. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman tells us more.
Speaking shortly after an emergency plenary session convened to address the anomaly, the Majority Leader and Electoral Matters Committee Chairman justified the quick passage of the amendment close to the deadline given by INEC for political party primaries. They debunked claims that the action might be self-serving due to the political aspirations of some principal officers, viewed as an attempt to confer undue influence and advantage on some power brokers at both national and subnational levels.
There was this omission that in the context and the content of the law, the electoral legal framework as it were, we have unfortunately, and I think we are human, omitted that aspect. And it has been embodied virtually in all the statutes documents of the political parties. There are provisions in virtually all our political parties for the use of statutory delegates, elected office holders, to participate in the selection process of candidates, which in other words is called party primaries.
So it is not self-serving, and you cannot exclude elected members, from election of either delegates or those to vote at congresses. It is never done, and that is, I said, it is an error, which of course we have seen, and thank God we have seen it before the primary election.
Now that the two chambers of the National Assembly have amended Section 84, subsection 8, to address what they call an unintended error preventing the statutory delegates from participating in their political party primaries, all eyes are on President Muhammadu Buhari to sign the amendment into law. Statutory delegates comprise the President and his vice, governors and their deputies, both serving and former, lawmakers at both federal and state legislative houses, elected council chairmen and their councillors, amongst others. Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu on Wednesday led other supporters to submit the presidential nomination and expression of interest forms of the All Progressives Congress for Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The completed forms were submitted to the party at the International Conference Center, Abuja, on Wednesday. Former Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal, who obtained the forms, also returned them. A delegation of Tinubu's supporters had also picked the form for him on April 30. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has urged Professor Ignatius Uduk, accused of announcing and publishing false election results, as well as lying under oath, to clear his name without further delay. Professor Uduk, a professor of physical and health education in the University of Uyo, was the coalition returning officer for Esianudim State constituency in the 2019 general elections. Speaking after court proceedings on Wednesday at the Akwa Ibom State High Court, sitting in Uyo, counsel to INEC Clement Unwenwono said the defense counsel delayed proceedings when he filed an application with a different suit number, which requires a different file. Onweuno stated that the prosecution has closed its case since January 27, 2022, which gave the defense counsel sufficient time to put up the defense, if they have any, but the defense counsel failed in that regard. Presiding Judge Justice Basi Nkanang adjourned the case to May 18, 2022. Politicians in Osun State have been charged to abide by electoral laws to make the forthcoming July 16 governorship election in the state peaceful and acceptable. The coordinator of the National Orientation Agency, NOA, in Osun State, Abiodun Oluropo, gave the charge in Osogbo at the Stakeholders Summit with the theme, Violence-Free Election in Osun State, Our Collective Responsibilities, organized by the State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC. The NOA coordinator advised political parties to educate their followers on the need to shun inflammatory utterances during campaign. NSCDC commandant in the state, Emmanuel Ocheja, assured of security before, during, and after the election, adding that anyone caught perpetrating violence will be dealt with according to the provisions of the law. NSCDC Head of Peace and Conflict Management, Assistant Commandant Abere Oluwafemi, appealed to politicians in the state to shun violence during election.
Until the election in Osun State, and the need to allow peace to reign before, during, and after the election. Election is a civil matter, and casting of votes during election is a civic responsibility that should be devoid of any act of violence. As the electioneering...
A governorship aspirant on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in Rivers State, Senator Magnus Abe, has urged government at all levels to invest in opportunities for better living for citizens to help tackle insecurity and other socioeconomic challenges in Nigeria. The former senator representing Rivers Southeast Senatorial District stated this at a one-day workshop organized by Freedom House and Associated Advisory Services Limited in Port Harcourt, the state capital. The report.
The one-day workshop has the theme, Importance of Investment, Economic and Political Implications in Rivers State. Speaking at the event, a frontline governorship aspirant on the platform of the All Progressives Congress, Senator Magnus Abe, stressed that if people are engaged in genuine sources of livelihood, there will be peace and stability in the society. Senator Abe said no government can achieve meaningful development without commitment to prudent management of resources.
When leaders become afraid that if citizens have money, they will threaten the government, that is because you are not leading by ideas. For the past how many years, we have been here no money. So instead of threatening other citizens with hunger, threatening them with poverty, you empower the citizens, because the more money and opportunities they have, actually the more stable the society becomes.
Abe declared that, if elected, his administration will prioritize creation of opportunities that will empower citizens to make wealth. Facilitators at the workshop urged participants to think towards legitimate wealth creation and stop depending on government or using politics as source of livelihood.
The saddest thing that happens in our country is that people who actually have potential, people who actually have ability, people who actually have ideas are frustrated by the government that is supposed to make them blossom and make those ideas and opportunities to shine for them.
People invest for their future to create wealth in order for them to be useful in the nearest future. The better the community, the better the state.
People should not depend on government alone. You should look at what you want to do by yourself to improve the economic of the state in particular and the country in general.
Senator Abe advised participants to develop business ideas that will help government create more jobs and make the state more economically vibrant.
People's Democratic Party presidential aspirant and governor of Bauchi State, Senator Bala Mohammed, has reiterated his commitment to abide by decision of the party if it eventually adopts zoning arrangement or otherwise. The PDP presidential aspirant stated this during an interview with newsmen shortly after a meeting with the Nasarawa State delegates in Lafia, the state capital. Abubakar Abdullahi filed the report as presented in our studio.
Governor Bala Mohammed of Bauchi State, who is among the presidential aspirants of the leading opposition political party in the country, said he believes in party supremacy as a loyal member of the party and would abide by its decision at any given time. He explained that there was no division or rancor in the party, saying that what the aspirants need from the party was justice, fairness, equity and a level playing ground at all times.
We have the pedigree and the antecedents and the experience and the human capital and the readiness. You can see we're here with our PDP BOT chairman and other elders. We have what it takes to really come together, and we have done it always. We are not divided. There is no rancor, there is no division. Even the dividing issues like zoning and rotation, we are going to surmount it because we are party members. We believe in the supremacy of the party.
Senator Bala Mohammed said he has all it takes to fix the country and leadership which will make the country great. He further said if given the mandate, he would create job opportunities and address security challenges confronting the country and improve its economy. The presidential aspirant therefore urged delegates to support him to enable him clinch the party's ticket. Nasarawa State PDP chairman Francis Orogu, in his remarks, told the PDP presidential aspirant that the state's delegates will study all aspirants and channel their votes to whoever will be of benefit to the state and country.
All the political leaders that are coming here are civil to sit down and accept them.
The PDP chairman wished the aspirants well in his endeavor.
Governor of Ekiti State, Ayodele Fayemi, was in Gombe State on Wednesday to woo the All Progressives Congress delegates ahead of its presidential primaries. Fayemi promised to tackle joblessness, insecurity, and the epileptic electricity supply in the country. Addressing the delegates at the Government House Banquet Hall, Fayemi said he threw his heart into the ring after wide consultations with friends and colleagues like Governor Muhammadu Inuwa Yahaya, who assured him of his support. Addressing newsmen later, he said, though he is aspiring to be the president, he refuses to be desperate about it. Earlier at the banquet hall, Governor Yahaya said Fayemi was qualified to be the president, adding that the presidential hopeful has dexterity, coordination, vigor, and energy as rare qualities that stood him out among other APC aspirants. People's Democratic Party (PDP) has accused the Muhammadu Buhari presidency of allowing the alleged mass looting of public funds to corruptly create a war chest for the APC to intimidate Nigerians and muscle the 2023 general elections. The PDP, in a statement on Tuesday, claimed that the All Progressives Congress is diverting public funds meant for development purposes and salaries of workers to its coffers by orchestrating the purchase of its presidential nomination form by all manner of persons at an excessive 100 million naira to warehouse sleaze funds for the elections. PDP spokesman Honorable Debo Ologunagba asserted that the party has information on how public funds are being withdrawn from ministries, agencies, and parastatals of government and diverted to people who have no verifiable means of livelihood to purchase APC's presidential nomination and expression of interest forms for individuals without any electoral value and who cannot even win local government elections. The PDP called on the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, the Accountant General of the Federation, as well as the Auditor General of the Federation to immediately commence an investigation and monitor the movement of funds in ministries, departments, and agencies of government so as to protect the national treasury from the APC as Nigeria approaches the 2023 general elections. A former presidential aspirant of the ruling party, Adamu Garba, has announced his resignation from the All Progressives Congress, APC. Garba, who backed out of the presidential race after raising 83 million naira, has criticized the party for pegging its presidential forms at 100 million naira. He said it was an attempt to exclude the youth and other qualified people from the race. Garba said his decision not to obtain APC's presidential forms followed consultations with his campaign team. However, on Wednesday, he took to his social media page to release a statement announcing his resignation from the APC, saying the party had lost its moral bearing. You're watching NewsHour on Trust Television. Coming up, how man abducts neighbor's daughter, buries body despite ransom.
The rains are here again. Floods are ravaging. Why? As residents of FCT, we have made some wrong choices. Dumping refuse in water channels, building on waterways, damaging water lines. The consequences of flooding can be devastating. Lives are lost, properties are damaged, people are displaced, farmlands are destroyed. Don't make the wrong choices. Don't build on floodplains. Don't dump refuse in waterways. Don't damage water lines. Clear all refuse in waterways around your premises. Together, we can safeguard lives and property. Do the right thing now. For emergencies, please call 112 or 122. This message is from the FCT Emergency Management Agency, FEMA.
To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. You're still watching NewsHour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories. We told you that President Muhammadu Buhari orders fake members with political ambitions to resign as Education Minister Emeka Nwajuba quits hours after directive. House of Representatives follows path of Senate, allows statutory delegates at primaries. Moving to more news, a blast suspected to be a bomb explosion has again exploded in Jalingo, the capital of Taraba State. The explosion, which occurred on Tuesday at about 9 p.m., took place a few meters away from the military base located in the Jalingo metropolis. Nana Mohammed reports. In the meantime, the House of Representatives on Wednesday urged the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police to deploy more security personnel to effectively secure Takum local government area and adjoining communities in Taraba State, which have come under siege by bandits. The House also urged the intelligence agencies to take steps to fish out the sponsors of bandits so as they are made to face the law. It wants the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to urgently provide assistance to members of the affected communities in Takum local government area in Taraba State. This followed the adoption of a motion of urgent public importance by Representative Danjuma Shiri, representing Wukari Ibi Federal Constituency of Taraba State, and one other lawmaker from the state. Now, let's take a short break.
As the 2023 elections draw near, remember, evil prospers when good men and women only wish for peace, but never take a step to make peaceful elections happen. Are you a father? Are you a mother? What are you saying to your children as elections approach? Have you warned them not to let themselves be used to cause violence? Have you explained to them what the consequences of electoral violence might be? Do your part to make peaceful elections happen. Talk to your children. Protect them from unscrupulous politicians who want to put them in harm's way, while their own children are comfortable at home, within and outside the country. Let's join hands to make 2023 elections peaceful. This message is from the National Orientation Agency, NOAA. To every politician, as the campaigns gain momentum and passions begin to rise, remember, the errors of your opponents do not make you a success. Do not run down your opponent and inflame passions to violence between and among your supporters. What counts is what you plan to do for the electorate and how you intend to relieve the sufferings and bring succor. Nigeria is in dire need of patriotic leaders at all levels, leaders who will make national development their priority. Concentrate on telling the electorate what you intend to do when you get into office. Focus on making your vision clear to the electorate. Don't engage in verbal abuses, fake news, or speeches. Keep dealing with issues that will bring progress. You win the hearts and minds of the people by being above board, by being civil, patriotic, and showing empathy. Let's join hands to make the 2023 elections peaceful. A message from the National Orientation Agency. Every patriotic Nigerian should hear this. Any politician who means well for the people will never allow themselves or their supporters to engage in any violent, destructive activities. No politician who truly wants to serve the people and develop the nation will encourage his followers to destroy properties or take human lives before, during, or after the elections. The Nigerian public must watch out for these traits and isolate any politician who encourages supporters to engage in violence. No genuine politician or patriot will cause trouble and seek to destroy the very society which they aspire to lead or develop. Politicians who have the good of the people at heart will not allow themselves or their
Welcome back to News Hour on Trust TV. Operatives of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Bauchi Command, have arrested 52-year-old Kabiru Abdullahi for alleged kidnapping and killing his neighbor's 5-year-old daughter after collecting a ransom of 150,000 naira. The suspect, who is a resident of Narabi in Toru local government area of the state, is said to have connived with one Yawale, a 45-year-old resident of Rimin Zayam in same area, to commit the crime. Adamu Imam has the report.
Parading the suspect at the command's headquarters, the state commandant Nuruddin Abdullahi told journalists that the suspect kidnapped the victim in front of their father's house and took her to a bridge where they strangled her and put the remains in a sack and buried her in an uncompleted kitchen.
This happened on 23rd April 2022 at 1900 hours. Information was received on the alleged kidnapping of a 5 years old girl named Khadija Abdullahi, popularly known as Ilham, at Sabon Garin Narabi, Toro local government, Bauchi state, swung into action and arrested the following suspects: Kabir Abdullahi, male, 52 years, of Narabi village, and Alhaji Awale, male, 45, of Rimin Zayan, all in Toro local government.
He noted that after a series of negotiations, the suspects were paid the sum of 150,000 naira as ransom, which was collected by Alhaji Awali in the bush at Narabi village. The father of the deceased, Abdullahi Yusuf, said he was shocked when he discovered that his trusted friend and neighbor was a killer. We came from God, and we surely return unto him. This man tied my daughter's neck with a rope until she died. We had to cut the rope with a knife. I had decided to bury her like that, but people around prevailed on me to give her a decent burial. So we had to take her body and bury in a nearby cemetery. That gave me some relief. In another development, Abdullahi told journalists of the arrest of two suspects, Isia Lawal of Deriko village and Musa Ado of Babale village, near Jos, the Plateau state capital, and assured that the command will not rest on its oars until crime is brought to the barest minimum in the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
The United Nations Children's Fund has charged stakeholders to work with government to ensure quality education for girls, especially in the northern part of the country. The chief UNICEF Kano Field Office, Rahama Farah, gave the charge at a media dialogue on Girls Education Project 3 in Nigeria, supported by Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office and implemented by UNICEF in Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, Zamfara, and Bauchi states. Farah called on all stakeholders, including religious leaders, parents, community leaders, civil society organizations, and the media, to push for girls' education in Nigeria. UNICEF education specialist Azuka Menkiti said educating
in
girls
general, we have Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in Africa and the second highest in the world. It's more important to know that most of these out-of-school children are actually in the northern states of Nigeria. And so we have a crisis in the northern states where we have the largest number of out-of-school children, including specifically girls. And today we are focusing on girls' education because girls, they don't have access to education. And the majority, millions of girls are out of school. And we need to work together with the government, with the community leaders, with the religious leaders, civil society organizations, with the media, all the stakeholders. We need to put our efforts together to ensure that girls are actually having access to quality education.
So education for girls in Nigeria is not just about sending girls to school within the four walls of a building, but is comprehensively addressing developmental issues that measure survival in terms of malnutrition, areas of health, and ensuring that the family economic standard of living is actually improved. So clearly, every girl child in Nigeria should go to school so that the economic growth that we are looking for in Nigeria is achieved.
Motorists in Maiduguri have expressed worry that the increasing fuel scarcity and long queues witnessed in Abuja may sooner or later spread to Borno State. Our correspondent who monitored the situation in Maiduguri reports that the residents also fear that the scarcity will come with an increase in the price of diesel and make businesses struggle for survival.
A drive around Borno metropolis reveals that some fuel stations are open for business. Among those open, some are selling at the official pump price, while others sold above the official rate. Some were closed due to unavailability of the product. The news of the lingering fuel shortage in Abuja has become worrisome among motorists in Maiduguri metropolis, who feel that they may soon be affected.
Of course, I fear that this is what worries me. I have a car, I have my boreholes, I am using fuel. And I was feared that when I had this one, since morning I came back, I am looking for the fuel. Because a gallon of fuel we usually buy 2,000, 3,000. Be a family man, our income is very poor, our economy of the state is very poor.
Our own fuel dealers, they are more even wicked than even Abuja on.
But because if this thing happen here, so nobody will just go and sit down and forget about the car. So that's why you see that even if they started, it will not go up to 300, just 250.
I check on that one. The queue is plenty, so I can't bear it. That is why I came here. And we need government to come in now.
Garba Ibrahim is an oil marketer. He believes the situation won't be alarming for residents.
Some of my colleagues, they have on the filling station, they will take them about 2 to 3 weeks. Yes. I don't think that the oil will scarce here in Maiduguri.
Goni Shetima, who runs an automobile shop, relies on diesel to generate power. The recent rise in the price is affecting his business. This has forced him to charge his customers extra fee, a situation that made him lose patronage.
We used to buy fuel, diesel actually, at the cost of 70, that's 650. But now the price has gone up to 750 naira per liter. We hardly even buy 50 liters. So these 50 liters, or rather at times we augment the differences to meet up at least to have like 60, 70 liters, and that will not last for another 1 week. So it's really affecting our turnover. Initially we used to have about 10, 20, let's say 5 cars a day, but now the turnover is very mean. So
Maiduguri has been in blackout with only few residential areas experiencing epileptic power supply. Many fear that another scarcity of petrol will worsen the situation.
Nigerians have continued to lament the lingering fuel scarcity and the hardship it presents. Speaking to Trust TV in Kano, some motorists expressed dissatisfaction with the persistent fuel scarcity, while calling on the federal government to prefer a solution to the problem. They lamented the number of hours they spend on queues, saying they buy fuel for as much as 188 naira per liter.
Telling you lies. We expected so much from the government, but unfortunately we are seeing the other side of the government. Nobody is happy. After you drop your kid from the school, move about, the whole day is gone, waiting for fuel scarcity. So that's all I can say. We keep hoping till we die. Naturally that's how it is. Because nobody is happy about this fuel scarcity. Believe you me, only those who are in government, that they can give their cars and call somebody in the filling station, my car is on the way, fill it up. I was here since morning. And you see the fuel scarcity, see the line is moving very slow.
Before, we used to spend like 2 hours in the queue. But now, if you can exercise patience, just in 30 minutes, you can able to get the fuel. But the filling station, they are selling the same price like before, but some, they are different prices.
Okay, so what are the prices?
The price now is 188, 190. So it's different station, different price. But like this Alico and the Renault, they are selling it at the same price like before. That is 165 per liter.
The Academic Staff Union of Polytechnics, ASUP, has commenced a 2-week warning strike with effect from Monday, May 16, 2022. ASUP reached the decision at an emergency meeting of its National Executive Council on Wednesday. President of the union, Anderson Ezeibe, blamed the decision on the refusal of the federal government to meet ASUP's demand. ASUP suspended its industrial action declared on the 6th of April 2021 on the 10th of June 2021 following the signing of a memorandum of action with the government. Some of the demands are the non-release of the approved revitalization fund for the sector, an approved 15 billion naira yet to be released 11 months after approval by the president. Nigerian students Wednesday besieged the National Secretariat of the All Progressives Congress, APC, carrying placards protesting the purchase of multi-million naira forms by politicians in the face of lingering strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the protesting students who presented a protest letter to the national leadership of the party also want the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, to investigate the buyers. The report.
Section 84, subsection 12 of the Electoral Act 2022 provides that no political appointee at any level shall be voting delegate or be voted for at the convention or congress of any political party for purposes of nomination of candidates for any election. Following the appeal court judgment, the Federal Executive Council directed ministers.
The Chief of Staff to the President, Ibrahim Gambari, on Wednesday summoned the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, and other registered trade unions in Nigerian universities for an emergency meeting. Gambari, who will chair the meeting tagged Tripartite Plus, scheduled to hold at Banquet Hall, Presidential Villa on Thursday evening in order to resolve ongoing industrial actions in the universities, also invited identified interest groups and civil societies. Apart from ASU and NASU, other unions that have paralyzed academic activities in the universities include National Association of Academic Technologists, NART, and Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU. The spokesman of the Ministry of Labor and Employment, Olajide Oshundu, in a notice sent, explained that Minister Chris Ngige will host the meeting. The Nigerian Customs Service, Kano Jigawa Command, said it has intercepted over 3,387 cartons of smuggled foreign rice, second-hand clothes, spaghetti, hard drugs, and other contraband items valued at over 1.2 billion naira in the two states. Customs Comptroller in charge of Kano Jigawa Command, Mar Umar, who disclosed this at a press briefing in Kano on Tuesday, said the seizure was made between March and April this year. The comptroller also said the command over the period increased its revenue collection to over 14 billion naira, up from the previous 9.6 billion naira. In business news, the management of Erisco Foods Limited has reiterated its call on the federal government to support indigenous manufacturers to succeed in order to help tackle unemployment and boost industrialization. President, CEO of the Erisco Group, Eric Umeofia, stated this while receiving a team from Army War College Course 6 of 2022 on an environmental study tour to Erisco Foods Limited at its headquarters in Lagos. Abdulateef Aliyu reports that the team, led by Brigadier General Matthew Oyekola, also embarked on tour of Erisco's multi-billion-naira factory for production of tomato paste and other products.
Erisco Food Limited is an indigenous food product manufacturer incorporated in Nigeria in 2004 and started operations in 2009, manufacturing tomato paste, seasoning, rice, milk cubes, and more. Environmental study tour visit of the Army War College Course 6/2022 was to assess the contribution of Erisco to the socio-economic development and national defense objectives. The managing director of the company, Mr. Nnamdi Umeofia, who gave a presentation on the activities of Erisco to the visiting army officers, said the firm has been supporting the military through the arrangement it entered recently with the Nigerian Defense Research and Development Bureau. But the company is, however, concerned about the lack of support from some ministries, departments, and agencies who allegedly encourage importation of substandard tomato paste in the country.
The impact is very crucial because when you take a look at manufacturers like us, we've invested assets, we've invested machineries, we've invested manpower, we've invested factory workers, we've invested generators, we've invested a lot of money that ordinary folks that import to that gives them money to import. So with the amount of investment that we've actually sunk into the ground of Nigerian soil, we're expecting that we're able to reap back the investment that we've sowed. You know, the saying is what you reap is what you sow. In this case, we've sown and it doesn't seem like we've been reaping. I'm guessing maybe it might turn out better in the future, but as it stands now, the lack of support from governments is not really helping us. So we assume and we believe that if we get that support, more investments will be sunk into Nigerian soil, more staffs will be gotten, more opportunities for Nigerian workers to actually get work, more unemployment will be reduced. So the ripple effect is actually tremendous.
The president and CEO of Erisco Bonpet Group, Chief Eric Omeofia, noted that if Nigeria had been doing well in the area of industrialization, there would have been no need for the government to budget so much in tackling insurgency, as many people would be employed. He, however, reiterated the challenges of indigenous manufacturers and called on President Muhammadu Buhari to pay closer attention to activities of the ministries, departments and agencies directly in charge of trade and manufacturing.
Well, the essence of the visit is to make Nigerian work better. That's why the Army War College, Nigerian War College come to visit us for environmental tour. And the essence will be that after they have seen what we have been operating, while we are calling on Nigerians to change today to patronize made in Nigeria. Because if we continue to have taste for foreign goods, the economy will continue to go down, continue to complain unnecessarily, and everybody will not. It's not good for everybody. It's like war. It pays nobody any good. But for the fact we are determined right from time to feed Nigeria with high quality good food, especially tomato paste, that we are surprised and wonder why fake and substandard imported tomatoes are stampeding us in the market, and regulatory authorities, they have never done anything there. I'm still shocked that up to now, despite the fact that NAFTA said 91.8% of all imported products from China is not good for health, why are they still doing it?
For the Erisco Food Limited, the visit of the Army War College provided another avenue to showcase its feats in promoting industrialization and Made in Nigeria initiative.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan has been appointed to the International Advisory Board of the European Corporate Council on Africa and the Middle East, ECAM Council. By this appointment, Dr. Jonathan becomes the first sub-Saharan African leader to serve on the board of the ECAM Council. It is a non-profit organization for promoting and developing relations between the countries of Europe, Africa, and the Middle East and North Africa region, with Italy playing a leading role. Members of the advisory board are Tony Blair, former British Prime Minister, Jose Manuel Barroso, former President of the European Commission, Nayef Fala Al-Hajraf, Secretary General, GCC Gulf Cooperation Council, and Amani Abu Zaid, Commissioner for Infrastructure and Energy at the African Union Commission. The Conference of Speakers and Heads of African Parliaments have called on governments in the continent to revive the healthcare sector to deal with pandemics. They say the enactment of enabling laws in the sector will better assist the continent in recovering from the devastating effects of COVID-19. The report.
The World Health today has not fully recovered from the devastating effect of COVID-19 and its attendant effect on the economic life of the people across the globe. In Africa, the outbreak of COVID-19 in 2019 caught many countries unaware. The World Health Organization says 11.5 million Africans have been infected with COVID-19, with about 253 deaths recorded. Over 26 million fell into extreme poverty, with 20 million citizens losing their jobs to the pandemic. To this end, inaugural meeting of the Conference of Speakers and Heads of African Parliament was hosted by Nigerian, with chief host of the conference and Speaker of the Nigerian House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, raising the alarm over the rising state of insecurity in the continent.
As advocates and representatives of the people, it is our responsibility to set the terms of our national development and ensure that government priorities reflect our citizens' most pressing needs and highest aspirations.
Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajabiamila also charged Parliament in Africa to guarantee the continent's recovery and growth in the aftermath of the pandemic using enabling laws.
We live in a time fraught with potential and danger, and every government decision we make and every action we take has the potential to substantially remake our world for good or for ill. This is, in effect, one of those defining historic moments. And when, as is inevitable, history delivers its judgment, we will even be remembered for doing the hard and necessary things that make for progress and prosperity, or be reviled for squandering the opportunity of a generation. I believe that all of us are here. We will cause to recognize the historic significance of the moment.
White House Principal Deputy Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre has condemned the killing of Abu Akleh. In a statement, she called for a thorough investigation to determine the circumstances of her death, investigating attacks on independent media and prosecuting those responsible are of paramount importance, Karine said in the statement. The White House pledged to continue to promote media freedom and protect journalists' ability to do their jobs without fear of violence, threats to their lives or safety, and unjust detention. And with that, we have come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. For more news, connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Ainde Shuaga, thanking you for watching.